Yo, what is up guys, it is Pat here, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a quick video on the NFL Divisional Round playoff games. I am recording this a couple hours before the Eagles game starts, so it's not like I'm recording this after the game has already started, but I am going to give my thoughts on some of the games and my predictions. Obviously, some of my wildcard predictions weren't right, but I'm going to try to do this for every single round. Of course, after this week, I'm going to do the Conference Championship, and then after 2 weeks after the Pro Bowl, I'm going to do the Super Bowl. But anyway, let's go ahead and hop into today's video. So the first game that we have is the Eagles versus the Falcons, Saturday at 4 o'clock, the early game. But I'm actually surprised here. The Falcons are the 6th seed and the Eagles are the 1st seed. And this might be the first time that the 6th seed is actually favorited. But obviously the Eagles don't have Carson Wentz, who is their MVP candidate, and they're going to have to go with backup Nick Foles, who has some experience in the league, but not much in the playoffs. And really, if they're going to win, they're going to need him to step up, and they're going to need for him to have a good game. And I've been reading some articles on how Doug Peterson was looking at footage from Nick Foles' 2013 season on some things that he needs to work on in his game, because obviously that's when he went off. Since they had the bye week, they've had time to look at their opponent, obviously the Atlanta Falcons, and get a good game plan going. And I feel like if he has a great game and the Eagles defense is on point like they generally usually are, I feel like the Eagles should have a good chance. But not a lot of people have a lot of confidence in Nick Foles, especially because the opposing quarterback is Matt Ryan, and the Falcons have just really stepped up their game. A great 6th seed to have, a good underdog, and I feel like they're going to try to repeat their Super Bowl performance, not their performance, but get to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they don't want to choke that lead again, but I feel like this would be a really close game. I feel like if it comes down to the wire, the Eagles are going to need to be able to run the ball, but I feel like it's become more of the Jay Ajayi show rather than LeGarrette Blount, who's been good, but that trade for Ajayi was huge, as he's now been pretty much their main back, but they've sprinkled in Clement in there too. But for this one, I'm going to pick the Eagles, just because it's their home field, the crowd's hype. They haven't been to a playoff game in a while, so I'm going to pick them 27-24. The offense is really going to get going, but in the end, the Eagles defense is going to be able to get pressure on Matt Ryan, force him into a bad throw or something. And yeah, so the next game we have is the Tennessee Titans versus the New England Patriots. And boy, do I want the Tennessee Titans to win. I mean, I just love rooting for teams against Tom Brady. Obviously, I'm pretty sure most people do, but especially me because I'm a Steelers fan. But obviously, I'm going to root for Tennessee, but I just don't think it's going to work out like that. Tom Brady has been able to pick apart Dick LeBeau-led defenses. Obviously, when he was the Steelers defensive coordinator, I know all about that. But I feel like they can't play from behind against the Patriots like they did the Chiefs, because the Chiefs and the Patriots are totally different. And if they're going to have a chance at this game, they're going to need to get out in front and sustain a lead. And obviously, we know the Patriots have all the weapons to win, but I feel like on defense, though, if you are the Tennessee Titans, you got to play press man coverage across the board and try to get a good pass rush. I mean, they have Derek Morgan, Jarrell Casey up front to get some good pressure, and if they can get, some good man coverage, of course, Adoree Jackson, their top corner, I feel like they could have a chance, because any zone defense against Tom Brady is just going to get picked apart all day. But if they can play press coverage, that might improve their chances. But all in all, I see the Patriots taking this one home. Unfortunately, I'd love to see the Titans win. That would be crazy, but I'm going to pick the Patriots here, 24-17. I feel like Tom Brady in the playoffs at home is just way too good. So we're going to be moving on to the early game on Sunday at 1 o'clock, Pittsburgh versus Jacksonville. Obviously, this one's got me nervous after the Week 5 performance that we had with Big Ben's 5 interceptions, but obviously that's the beginning of the year, and the teams are different. Now, if I was being biased, I would pick the Steelers right away, and I'm still going to pick them, but I'm going to explain why, not just say they're going to win and no explanation. So, obviously the Steelers are going to be pounding the ball with Le'Veon Bell, who's been their workhorse pretty much. They haven't really had anyone else that's carried the ball, except James Conner, but he's hurt, so Stephen Ridley would be the backup. But I feel like the Steelers' defense has gotten a lot better, and the thing is that everyone talks about Sacksonville and how they can get sacks and everything, but the Steelers' defense actually finished first in the league with sacks, and they had 56, and no one's really talking about that. But I feel like that obviously the reason why we lost in the first game was Ben Roethlisberger, and Le'Veon Bell only had 15 carries in that game, and usually in these last couple of games he's gotten close to 30 or 35, so early and often they're going to have to sprinkle in some runs with Le'Veon Bell and to keep the defense honest, and then if that can get going, you hit some play action down the field with Martavis Bryant, Smith-Schuster, but it's not going to be that easy. The Jacksonville defense is obviously amazing. Their linebackers are good. They got Dante Fowler, they got Telvin Smith, and of course A.J. Boye, Jalen Ramsey, Barry Church. They got guys that will go after the ball and are really just ball hawks in general, but obviously after last week's performance, they only put up 10 points to the Buffalo Bills, and it's going to be on Blake Bortles' hands on offense. Leonard Fournette really didn't have a great game last week, but he's been good in the season, obviously, but when you have more rushing yards as a quarterback than passing yards, it's not really something you want to do. So if Jacksonville's going to want to win this game, they're going to have to get Blake Bortles going. They're going to have to get him, obviously, more passing yards and rushing yards. And they're just going to have to try to get on easy completions, because last week for the Jacksonville offense was ugly, but the Jacksonville defense is obviously amazing, and that's why they're one of the top teams in the AFC. But all in all, I feel like Ben Roethlisberger can have a better game than he did in Week 5, and I feel like we can come out on top. So I'm going to pick the Steelers here, 21-14. It's still going to be a generally close game, but I think the Steelers will be able to come out with it. And so then we have the final game of the week, the New Orleans Saints versus the Minnesota Vikings. Probably, besides the Eagles game, the best game this weekend. Drew Brees is just playing insane, and I mean that's what you expect when you get into the postseason with a guy as accurate as he is. And the defense has been great, but I feel like one key injury that is not really been talking about is Teron Armstead being injured. He was hurt in the game against Carolina, and he's arguably their best offensive lineman, so it's going to be a lot harder. They didn't really establish the run game that much against the Panthers with Kamara, but he did have a short rushing touchdown though. But still, they're going to need to get the two-headed monster of Ingram and Kamara going. But talking about Minnesota, obviously their defense is good, very good. Xavier Rhodes, of course, Anthony Barr, Kendricks, Harrison Smith. They're a great defense, and their offense is just as good. Obviously, Case Keenum with a surprise season, who's been amazing. It's weird to say he's been cut 3 times and traded for a 7th-round pick, and now he has a chance to take his team to the NFC Championship. But their offense has been great. Latavius Murray is going to have a great game, along with McKinnon, because they need to get some balance on offense. And of course, Thielen and Diggs are going to have to do the same thing, but it almost seems as if Adam Thielen has taken over the main role, but still 2 great pass catchers on the outside. But I feel like for Minnesota to win, their defense is going to have to be superb as always, but they're going to have to get McKinnon and Latavius Murray involved a little bit more, get that going, just like pretty much what the Steelers need to do, and get their running backs going. And then once they get the run game going, obviously you're going to hit them downfield for big plays on play action, which I think is the key to success here. But this is going to be a really, really close game. But honestly, I'm going to go with the team that's not favored here in the New Orleans Saints, because I feel like when the game's on the line and you need a clutch game-winning drive in the playoffs, who are you going to put out there? The league's arguably most accurate passer in Drew Brees or Case Keenum. Although he's been playing amazing, I feel like Drew Brees in the playoffs is just so different, and he just steps up his game immensely. So I'm going to go with the Saints here. It is going to be a good game. I'm going to say Saints 28-24. But like I said, a great game, but I feel like Drew Brees in the clutch, if you need a game-winning drive, he's going to be able to read the defense and pick it apart and make the great throw. But yeah, so that's my divisional round previews. Yeah, I'm going to be doing one for the conference championships too after this weekend, but hope you guys enjoy. Obviously, once the season's over, I'm going to still be making more NFL videos. Obviously, free agency, the draft, trades, etc. Stuff like that. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Peace. Thanks for watching.